The city of Jackson and Hinds County will work on 59 streets as a part of 10 interlocal agreements around the capital city. WJTV 12 speaks with Hinds County Supervisor Robert Graham for the latest.
Plus, a dangerous drug is found in the metro as a part of a major drug bust in Brandon.
All right, then later in sports, neither snow, nor rain, nor heat, nor gloom of night. And no, I'm not talking about the post office. I'm talking about football. We preview what is looking like a soaking wet night of pigskin.
Yeah, it's a stormy evening out there. Here's a look at Live IMAX 12. These storms moving in from the Delta. They are now severe over parts of the metro. We've got a severe thunderstorm warning for Rankin County until 7 p.m. The storm moving to the southeast at about 10 miles per hour is capable of producing 60-mile-per-hour winds and also quarter-sized hail. That OT Spotlight game of the week, that's in Brandon. That's where they're seeing the worst of the weather right now. Now, when the storm was in Hinds County, it dumped a lot of rain, over 2 inches, with a few more inches possible. That's why in this green shaded polygon, we've got a flash flood warning in effect until 7:30. Now, a little bit earlier this afternoon, we had several severe thunderstorm warnings, including one in Madison County. And we've had reports of significant tree damage in the city of Madison, the Sandalwood subdivision, which is right off of Rice Road. And that's where meteorologist Rebecca Velasquez joins us now. She's reporting exclusively from the state's only mobile weather lab. Rebecca, what are you seeing out there right now in terms of damage?
That's right, Ken. We're seeing a lot of tree damage, Ken. I'm going to show you right behind me. Residents can't even leave their driveways in the Sandalwood subdivision, where a numerous amount of trees are knocked over. We did see a lot of lightning damage as well, as we're going to kind of show you where residents can't even leave their house. We have Madison police here, Madison fire officials here as well. And I think we even have, we have more officials on the way to help with the cleanup, because it is just a tremendous amount of damage in this area of the subdivision, which is in Madison County, where we had that severe thunderstorm warning, as you mentioned, and we have that flash flood warning. Roof damage. Let me show you some of the houses here where shillings are coming off of the roofs of some of these houses over here, where people are struggling to recuperate. They're trying to recover right now from this simple severe thunderstorm warning that, a lot of us may not take seriously, but this is just a prime example of just the amount of impact some of this wind damage had with all these trees knocked down, as we are seeing a lot of officials coming in right now. So this is kind of what we're dealing with just in the Sandalwood subdivision. Haven't heard any reports. Did hear of some flooding reports in Rice Road, but as always, when we hear of more of these reports, I'll send it over to you, Ken, and of course we'll be posting and updating y'all on this. But live in Madison, doing severe weather coverage, continuing on WJTV 12.
All right, good coverage there. Of course, we'll be having much more throughout this newscast. Now, Jackson Mayor Chokwe Lumumba and the city of Jackson signed off on 9 emergency interlocal agreements for Hinds County. And as a result, many residents across North Jackson will be resurfaced.
WJTV 12 Shay O'Connor has more on what Hinds County Supervisor Robert Graham is still promising residents.
And I'm here on Hanging Moss. Now, it is one of the newest roads to be paved right here in Hinds County. Days ago, WJTV 12 reported about Mayor Chokwe Lumumba and the city of Jackson approving about $4 million in interlocal agreements for 59 streets within Hinds County to be repaved. But Hinds County Supervisor Robert Graham says the district is not done yet. Graham says there are 6 roads not included on the list that are still high priority. Some have already been approved for repair.
I just want to assure the residents in North Jackson that we are that there are particular streets on the list, and that we're going to pave their streets according to the worst streets will get paved first. We're going to do as many neighborhood streets as we possibly can. We're going to pave roads until the money runs out.
Graham says construction will start on most roads in the next 2 weeks, but that has not stopped the county from judging streets on a scale from 1 to 100. Anything lower than 50 is worthy of being repaved. Those under 25 means the street is in terrible condition.
We have a lot of horrible condition streets in the city of Jackson below 25. And so that's what we're in the process of doing in North Jackson. I can only speak for my particular district. We're in the process of evaluating the streets in North Jackson, and everything rated below 25 will be the streets that we're going to try to pave first.
Graham says he is hopeful new construction will bring Jackson residents some relief and a glimmer of hope that the pothole issues within the city will one day all be fixed. Reporting in Jackson, Shay O'Connor, WJTV 12.
And Supervisor Graham said earlier this week he will hold a meeting Monday to address the concerns of 9 more streets within the county.
Well, those will need to be approved by the Board of Supervisors before being considered for repaving. Check out the list of streets to be repaved in North Jackson by visiting our website. It's WJTV.com. Well, there were reports that Governor Phil Bryant wanted to possibly include the city of Jackson specifically in the special session next week. Well, WJTV 12 reached out to the governor's communications director, who released a statement which reads, quote, "There won't be anything specific to the city of Jackson. The special session will deal with infrastructure across the state, some of which is in Jackson." Part of Fairview Street in Jackson has been paved.
Before now, there was a huge problem on that Belhaven Street that had been there since the winter. It's a story we first brought you last month. Now, residents told us about the huge pothole, and this all started when a geyser formed there in December. Neighbors say they weren't sure the city would ever get to the problem, but then we featured it in our Pothole of the Week segment.
It was just a massive hole. And that you had to go around it completely. If your car your car would be destroyed.
But everyone was really happy that it got filled in. Yeah.
Now, if you know of a pothole that we need to check out, you can find out how to contact us on our website, WJTV.com.
Mississippi Bureau of Narcotics is now warning Mississippians to check their vape products. On August 8th, during a SPICE investigation, authorities confiscated vials of vape products. When the state crime lab tested a vial, they detected fentanyl in a unit. Due to this finding, they are now issuing a health and public safety alert. MBN Director John Dowdy is warning people, young and old, to stay vigilant when you buy vape products. He's also warning store owners about selling these dangerous drugs.
When you're selling a product and you have no idea what it is or what it contains, or you might think you know what it contains, but it has the potential to do harm to other people, as a responsible business person, I would suggest that you probably need to find another item to be selling in your store.
Authorities are not releasing the name of the convenience store where the vial came from.
Jackson Councilman Aaron Banks held a news conference to discuss a new study on the racetrack and motor sports track. Now, while the study wasn't made available to the public, the councilman did give some insight into the early discussions. Banks says that one of the main goals for this study is to drive the points home for all affected parties to get the tracks built and funded to help bring more people into the capital city.
This gives us an opportunity again to become a real destination city. This is something that we're all wrapping our arms around, and there are programs and there are things that we're doing that we feel very confident with. The schedule that's in the study of the different events and different things that we propose, it makes you uniquely and vastly different from some of the many tracks that we've had. Site location is, you think that?
Banks says that the focus should be that if we build it, the people will come, and he says that people from all over the state would come here.
The Jackson Salvation Army tries to send 10 to 15 families home with a week's worth of groceries, but right now the pantry is bare and they need your help. Here's a look inside. Just some vegetables on the shelves. The Salvation Army says this limited amount of food makes it difficult to provide a nourishing meal for families in need.
That they can, and I know when people think canned goods, your first choice is almost always the vegetables, and people don't think about pasta or sauces or peanut butter. Crackers, we can't really do bread, but crackers are great to put peanut butter on.
You can drop off your donations at the Salvation Army administrative offices or donation center.
Earlier this year, JPS officials announced that Davis Magnet Elementary would be renamed for a former U.S. president. Today, the school was officially renamed and has held a ceremony to unveil a new mural. Now, here's a look at some of the pictures from that ceremony at the newly named Barack H. Obama Elementary School. The mural was done by Charles and Talmikia Bryce through a grant from the Greater Jackson Arts Council. WJTV 12's Jade Balexa is at the ceremony, and we'll have more on this story tonight on WJTV 12 News at 10. Now, let's send it back over to Ken, where weather is at the top of everybody's mind right now.
Yeah, and here's an update on that severe thunderstorm now moving through the metro. Unfortunately, it is moving very slowly, only to the east, southeast at about 10 to 20 miles per hour, dumping a lot of rain, at least a couple of inches of rain out of the storm, along with dangerous lightning strikes, gusty winds up to 60 miles per hour, and some small hail possible with this storm. But we're hoping later tonight things are going to calm down just a little bit. You'll see that forecast coming up next. You're watching WJTV 12. Well, lots to talk about today, so let's get straight to it with Live IMAX 12. We've got scattered thunderstorms moving across the state. The worst of the weather is actually right here in the metro. We've got 2 warnings out there. A severe thunderstorm warning for Rankin County. That's where the worst of the weather is right now. All of this is sliding to the east and southeast at about 10 to 20 miles per hour. So Brandon seeing a lot of heavy rain all the way down to Florence, and it's headed your way if you live in Puckett, Polkville, Pelahatchie, back over to Morton, and up to the north as well. Now, where the rain has already come through, it's already dumped a couple of inches of rain. So this green polygon here, that is a flash flood warning until 7:30. A severe thunderstorm warning until 7 for Rankin County, Hinds, Madison County, flash flood warning until 7:30. Now, this is a look at an estimate of how much rain has already fallen. Again, close to 2 inches here, but we could see even more before all is said and done. A little bit farther up the line, not severe, but some pretty good rain showers from Carthage, Lee County up to Atala County. Lighter, moderate showers in the Delta, and we're not seeing as much right now in the Pine Belt. Just some cloud cover, some light rain, but we definitely have rain cool numbers now in the metro. We're down into the low 70s now, so we're revising our numbers down for our high school football action. The numbers could pop actually back up a couple of degrees after the rain passes by, but we're basically going to be in the mid 70s for your game tonight in Brandon between Madison Central and Brandon. We'll see a south breeze out there, and unfortunately still chances of rain through the game, so you're going to need a poncho not only here but also down around the Pine Belt. Now remember, they haven't seen as much rain, so they're going to be cooling from the low 80s into the mid 70s for a little bit later tonight. Now, our weather maker is this frontal boundary. It's moving into a lot of tropical air over the Gulf Coast. But here's the problem. It's going stationary. It's going to stall out over the weekend right over us, keeping us with good chances of rain through the weekend and into early next week. Now, the next wave of low pressure, the next weather maker, that's going to be coming at us for early next week. And this one we think is going to drag a cold front all the way through the state late Tuesday going into Wednesday. That will completely change our weather for the better at the end of next week. In the meantime, we're looking at below average temperatures, mainly just because of the cloud cover and the rain chances. Will be sub 90 from here down through the Pine Belt. In the tropics, Ernesto headed for the British Isles. Obviously no worries for us. And a little bit farther to the south, keeping you posted on that tropical wave. But look, it's only got a 0% chance of developing because it's moving into an environment that's really not conducive for tropical development. And by the way, today is August the 17th. That's the 49th anniversary of the landfall of Hurricane Camille in Mississippi. That was back in 1969. A lot of folks remember that. All right, here's a look at our forecast for tonight. 60% chance of rain overnight, up to 70% tomorrow, but that's going to keep us below 90. And we're going to carry over that 70% chance of rain as we go through the weekend and early next week. Tuesday, most of this rain is going to be early in the day. That's when the front passes through. And then look at this for mid-August. Not bad at all. Lower humidity, lots of sunshine. Lows will be in the 60s and highs in the 80s for at least a couple of days. So horrible weather for the first night of high school football action. But next week, next Friday, looks really good. So,
so the kickoff is really a kind of a miserable week.
Yeah.
But I kind of get
so
it.
let's focus on next week.
We got to get through tonight, though.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Ken. And we'll have a live look from WJTV 12 meteorologist Rebecca Valquez in the WJTV 12 Mobile Weather Lab, which is the only one like it in Mississippi, coming up after the break. Stay with us.
Meteorologist Rebecca Velasquez live in the Sandalwood subdivision in Madison, well within Madison County, where the rain has let up just enough so that residents can kind of see the amount of damage that has happened in this portion of the neighborhood. Now, it's not the entire neighborhood. It's just this little strip within the subdivision where trees are knocked down, knocking over into driveways. We did have a good amount of roof damage too. We're finally seeing a few residents even kind of coming out to look at the damage as Madison Police, Madison Fire Department, they are all here trying to clean up the damage as much as we can. And we also have neighbors helping neighbors. We have a few neighbors back here behind me where they are trying to put tarps where wind damage and just tree damage has blown off portions of the roof. So that's exactly what we're seeing back here. We're also seeing a lot of officials working tirelessly to get this cleaned up. But I will say, if you live near the Sandalwoods division, do not try to drive through this area. We still have a tremendous amount of trees knocked over on the roads. So don't try to come out here and look. You know, there are officials working around the clock to clear this up. But this is all from that severe thunderstorm warning that passed through earlier. There is a flash flood warning still in effect for this area until 7:30. But yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at here. We are looking at, you know, a lot of neighbors helping each other out to kind of clear up a lot of this tree and wind damage. And we are still seeing a lot of lighting off to our west. So there is that, you know, potential for maybe a little bit more severe weather, especially in the Jackson metro. But I'm going to toss things over back to you, TJ, in the studio, because hopefully you have much lighter news in the world of sports to give. TJ?
Well, I tell you what, I love to see everyone helping each other out. That's really awesome. Well, coming up next in sports, if we get the game tonight, 2 junior quarterbacks lead the teams in tonight's spotlight between Brandon and Madison Central. Plus, the Saints have a candidate to back up Alvin Kamara when Mark Ingram serves his suspension to start the regular season. What's up?
I'm smiling. Oh, she's so hot. I know. I can't take any credit.
He said, oh, that's fine.
He said, already took it. He already said, I found her. He did. I'm not. I worked on the deal a bit. This man, I give him the credit. I give Ken the credit. Yeah. Yeah, amazing. Even the toss to teach it.
Okay. Tossing to commercial.
Mm-hmm. Well, tonight should be an interesting night of football. Rain is falling, and that's been especially true in Brandon. That's the site of our spotlight game tonight between the Bulldogs and Madison Central. Now, both the Dogs and Jags will be relying on junior quarterbacks this year. Brandon's signal caller is Will Rogers. He took over last season without hesitation. Head coach Tyler Peterson is also now the quarterback's coach, and he was able to work more closely with Rogers in the spring. Meanwhile, at Madison Central, Jimmy Holiday is the returning QB. The second-year starter helped lead the Jags to an 11-3 finish last year, which ended in the 6A North Finals.
He's a guy that loves to play. I think the guys around him love to play with him, and he's just one. You threw him out there, and he never batted an eye.
Well, the good thing about last year, he didn't have a chance to think. He just had to go play, just all of a sudden. But, he just got a really good grasp of things. And anytime you have your quarterback coming back, that's a big plus for you as a team.
Well, Madison Central's won 3 of the last 4 meetings in this series. And tonight, that's our spotlight game like we mentioned. You can catch all the highlights from that one and many others on the OT. It starts at 10:15 right here on WJTV 12. You can follow us on Twitter. Our hashtags, our usernames right there are on the screen. All right, let's move on to the Saints. They are playing their second preseason game tonight. And regular season spots are on the line in the preseason, and it's especially true at the running back position for New Orleans. Now, Mark Ingram is suspended for the first 4 games, which means Alvin Kamara is going to need a backup. One guy who's standing out in camp right now is Jonathan Williams. The Arkansas product had 26 yards rushing and a touchdown run in his only drive last week against Jacksonville.
Put my head down and work, and I think that showed in the preseason game. Mark and AK lead the group, and I'm in their heads. I'm right on their hip, asking them questions and stuff like that. Coach Thomas is a great coach, a guy that I've been with in college as well. So I'm just trying to put my head down and keep working.
He's a guy with good vision. He'll get what's blocked. We just got to keep giving him those opportunities. But he's doing well.
All right, kickoff for the Saints and Cardinals is at 7. That's all for sports. We'll be right back.
More storms over the weekend and into early next week, but then a cold front comes through late Tuesday. Cooler, drier weather for the end of this week.
All right, thank you. And remember, news, weather, and sports available 24/7 at WJTV.com.
Be sure to engage with us on Facebook, Twitter, and on Instagram. We'll see you back here tonight at 10 on the CW and at 9 at 10 on WJTV. Until then, everybody, make it a good night.
Connected to this place, and it just keeps getting better.